Let's see the GitHub Actions, events, and also the CICD pipeline. Let me open my pointer. So, GitHub Actions is a platform to automate developer workflows. Also, CICD tool. CICD is one of many workflows. It's just one of many workflows we can automate with GitHub Actions. Now we need to understand those workflows, developer workflows. So what are those workflows? We already know that GitHub is a platform for open source projects. So a lot of developers who have developed their own libraries for programming language, they can host their projects on GitHub and make them publicly available so that the community can use those projects but also to contribute to those projects. So the team or individual developers can contribute. Also, people can create pull requests joining as a contributor. For example, uh, let's say we have some project, we have some contributors also and some users of that project. Whenever a use of library or the project sees that have a new release of library has a bug or not working, they can create an issue. So developer has to check it and sort it whether it is minor or major, is it reproducible and assigned to the contributor. So one of the contributor fixes the issues and creates pull requests so that we can merge it into the next release of that library. So we need to review the pull request and the code, and the bug is fixed and merge it into the main branch or the major master branch. So after the merge into branch, we start with the pipeline, that is CI/CD pipelines, that will test our code, build our artifact, and so on. Also want to prepare some release notes, whether our document and what got added in the new version. So all of these things are example of workflow. As a developer doing all organizational steps, want to automate as much as possible of those management tasks. For this purpose, Git actions are created. With Git actions, every time something happens to our repository, we can configure automatic actions to get executed in response. The things happening in our repository are events in the GitHub. Someone creating a pull request is an event, someone creating issue is an event, someone joining as a contributor is an event, and merging pull request is also an event. So let's see the CICD. What is CICD? Continuous methodology is a software development based on automating the execution of scripts to minimize the chance of introducing errors while developing applications. They require less human intervention or even no interventions at all, from the deployment to new code until its deployment. It involves continuous integration and continuous building and deploying code changes and using the changes of deploying new code. It has three main approaches. The first one is, you can see here, continuous integration. Consider a multiple developer working on an app. This application has its code stored in each of the respective local repository, but ultimately there has to be one code. Therefore all the involved developers push their code changes to a common remote repository. This practice is known as continuous integration. For every change submitted in an application is built and tested automatically, ensuring introduced changes pass all the tests we established for our app. The second one is continuous delivery. This is a step beyond integration. In addition to CI, it is also deployed continuously, though the development are triggered manually. Though the deployment are triggered manually. This method ensures that the code is tested automatically but require human intervention manually and strategically trigger the deployment of the changes. Then continuous deployment. This is also a step beyond CI, similar to continuous delivery. The difference is that instead of deploying the application manually, we set it to be deployed automatically. This does not require human intervention. Few advantages it has in deployment production environment. Let's say the CI/CD necessary. It has increased speed of operation, communication between teams, regular feedback, frequent development cycle, easier detection of errors, quicker recovery, and better efficiency. This is the advantages of CI/CD. So here is the CI/CD pipeline. Pipelines are basically fundamental building blocks of CI/CD, hence backbone of modern DevOps environment. A CI/CD pipeline bridges gap between development and operation team by automating the building, testing, and deployment of application. It basically helps to automate a series of steps in our software development process, such as initiate code builds, running tests, and staging production environment. There are different stages in pipeline implementation that are commit. In this stage, new codes are integrated to the base code. We have feedback loop to help check the code quality and series of unit tests. The next one is build. Once the code is tested and integrated in the next stage, the code is built where the source code is converted into an executable form that can be run on a machine. The, the next two are test and deploy. The test stage, you can see here the test stage. In this stage, the alpha and beta deployment takes place. The format checks the integration between builds and if the app is working before moving it to the production. So the last one is deployment stage. Once the build has gone through all the test scenarios successfully, it is ready to be deployed into the production stage. Here we deploy our application and our app goes live for the end users environment, that is consumers. There are couple of tools to automate this entire process, that are Jenkins and GitLab CI/CD. So this is about the CI/CD and what is CI/CD and its pipeline.